On to today's motions. This House believes that schools should prioritize teaching practical life skills over academic subjects. I, Anandina Saifa, as the first speaker of the government team, want to give my stance and opinions of this matter. In today's world, we know that everything could be considered as important to teach our young generations. Everyone's, including for and especially for parents, currently teaching their children how to do even for the most basic things ever since they were born. Since they were little, they teach them how to cook, even for babies, because they want these children to grow up with those skills. Because the more as more time goes, people think that this is important to teach. There are so many cases where so many subjects valued in schools are simply useless when it comes to be practicing them in real life. For example, there are so many subjects like mathematical logics where we can't use these in terms of general or like basic, or to use them in basic life skills. In everyday life, we don't need this. We don't need math logic to do something, to do practical things, which the definitions I'll begin explaining later. Here's science too. Even when we can only apply some of the knowledge itself, like how to help someone in science, we know which parts of our bodies to help, or what to heal, or which drugs to use when we want to help someone. But when we learn about these specific things, especially in academics, where we are pressured to withstand so many sub-subjects from these subjects, we are losing the meaning itself of learning these things for math and also science. There's also history. We don't need history to be practical, to do things, to help us to do better in the real life. We became too conscious of our life to do things better, to discover the world more, to discover out of satisfaction. We want to learn these things because we want to feel satisfied, because we know more about the world, and to find the meaning of the world itself, right? We want things to more to prove, but that doesn't basically use them on our daily basis. There are many cases that have happened, like students learning for biology competition, especially for the Olympiads, as for the knowledge, as for challenging their knowledge, and to challenge their how well they know the subjects for specific, but not really using it in real life. We can know specific things like cells and other parts of biology, so many things about biology, but we can't actually apply them in real life. There are so many cases that are happening within this. And also with computer skills. In today's world, we can see already that so many teenagers are fighting for themselves to learn math, biology, history, anthropology, and competition with others for them to be considered smart. Because why? Because everyone does value this. Because teachers want them to be smart, to be excelling in each and every subject. Parents also want them to excel in many subjects, and hence the students will believe them for themselves that they need to excel in these subjects as well. So they suffer with not even thinking and not even process. They study until they can even they can even think about other things to learn about and to actually do it in the real life. Because we don't have time. We are too tired for this. And when they are told to do basic things like minding administrations, cooking rice, cooking anything in general, they simply can't. Because why? Because they simply don't have the time to, and everyone valued more than that. We want to address here that practical life skills, the key is that what we can do, the practical things that we can do in life or in everyday life. We also allow this debate to be happening in the working place, but only prioritize them when it comes to doing it in real life, especially for high schoolers that needs to be face the real world after they graduate, or to be in working place, or to be in the working environment. What are the examples? It's like properly drain septic tanks, how to measure things with maths, but only to measure things. Basic carpentry, how to fix simple equipments, how to properly sanitize yourself, how to do self-care, and how to driving. These are the list of things that so many teenagers nowadays can't even do because they are simply not told to do. Why is this happening? I told you, because the schools also values this and also the parents. This is such a tragedy to know that we couldn't even that we could count integrals, we could count matrix, we know every single parts of mathematics or science, but we can't even practice them in real life, and we can't even know exactly when to use this in real life. This is just pathetic. Or like to face the emergency, or how to face natural disasters, what we should do in the first place. We don't know these things. Address that we don't harm or shame or bash the people who study to get knowledge and to excel in class or get rankings or to win Olympiad. We as Emotion thinks that this is a great idea to promote what you actually can do and get off of real life. Note that we will keep educating students for academics teachers for the sake to keep them informed about the world and for creating innovations that one day could be beneficial, but we will have to heavily prioritize teaching basic practical life skills first. Limitations are that in developed and developing countries. Three layers that we will begin explaining. First, how teaching them practical skills could afford life, promoting independency more and resilience. Well, first of all, it handled the setbacks and for students to adapt to changes, because we teach them communication skills, because we teach them how to measure things, or how to communicate with others, how to do simple tasks. Those things could make us know how it is beneficial for teenagers. And the problem solving and critical thinking is also for the real life. Why? Because we want to face students and individuals more, into interacting with people and to deal with problems more. Students are too busy thinking about achieving grades to excel in academics. They have no time to learn about these practical skills. Secondly, how it could not only promotes IQ but also emotional intelligence, so hence creating balances within the student's individual. And thirdly, how it is benefiting for the long-term effect. To think about surroundings, to pay attention to operate basic things, and not being able to survive in the real world because they aren't thought to. Imagine a narrative when we get older and we living alone in somewhere and then there's no adult to help us, and we need to face everything by ourselves. We of course want to be independent on this. We would need these skills. Because parents support academics and teachers valuing scores more, there are no room for us to improve ourselves. Students will obey, hence they don't understand these life skills. They can't even communicate or mind administration. So what is the point of just learning academics and not prioritizing the basic life skill that we need the most in our lives? We need to communicate with others. We need to pick stuff for monthly shopping. We also need to learn finances to spare money more. Secondly, with communication skills and how to self-control to value stress management, we could then hence balance the IQ and the emotional intelligence itself. Because we don't only understand academic stuff, how things operate, we also can communicate to others. We can socialize with each other. We can bargain to each other when we shop monthly for what. When in the real world, the academic things are deprioritized more, and hence the basic life skills will be needed more, because when you can't survive in the real life, you just simply crumble. So hence, these are the things why we support these. We would want individuals and future generations to be more well-rounded and to have resilience more. We want them to be we want the generations to be moving into surviving the real life well enough as human beings, and to have them balancing the IQ and also EQ, especially for high schoolers who want to develop themselves and to make themselves better and to survive in the real world, not to crumble. Proud to propose.